Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mensur Pudic, and I'm the founder of Simply Motivated. And today I got a special guest from around the world, overseas, Joe Kolar. Joe, how are you?
Good evening, Mensur. I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Can you remind me again, where are you from or where are you located right now?
It's a country called Slovakia. It's a tiny country next to Austria in Eastern Europe.
All right. So in Slovakia, I'm actually been to Austria in 2012, I believe. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. We exchanged some text messages and we talked a little bit. And I know you're huge into the personal development, and I know you followed Bob Proctor and worked with some of the best coaches in the world. Tell me a little bit, what got you interested in personal development or coaching?
That's a good question, Mensur. I was fortunate in year 2005, which is quite a bit at the moment, to work for organization of W. Clement Stone in Ireland. He created one of the most successful insurance companies in Canada and America, I believe in 1918. And what I have received from that organization in 2 weeks training and 5 years practice as an insurance salesman have laid a very strong foundation for my life up till now. I can honestly say I do still benefit from it, as of how to treat people, how sell, how to behave, the basics of life of a young man that's starting his career. So I can say W. Clement Stone is a huge part in it. Yeah.
And when it comes to personal development, it's huge, right? It's the skills that we learn, they never leave us, right? We only grow and adapt to those skills, and we want to utilize them and create new skills on that. As a coach, how important do you think is the mindset? We talk a lot about goals, and, a lot of people can't drive that image in their mind, and you know a lot about how the mind works, so can you explain a little bit to us about that?
Mindset is very important, Mensur, because you know yourself, every single day we deal with situations, whether in work, whether in life, situations that we can't predict. But then depends how is your mental attitude set, what kind of point of view you have on life, what drives you. I would say, if you're going somewhere for a holiday and you take a plane, you are certain that you're going to get to the destination, right? Now, why is that? Pilot knows the exact destination where he's flying. Even though he gets helped by the computers in the airplane, he has to know where he goes, right? So with the frame of mind, you have to know the end result. You have to know the goal where you're going. Of course, you're going to get some circumstances or setbacks along the way, but you still have to remember where you're going, where you're heading. And motivational books or videos, speakers, they help. They help sharpen frame of mind, because with motivation, with inspiration, it's like with the morning routine, hygiene in the bathroom. It doesn't help only once in a week, right? We do it every morning and every evening.
That's a strong perspective. And like you say, a lot of the motivational speakers talk about that, but they don't only talk about that, they implement it and they do it themselves. And we have another legend here. Craig's actually on right now. He's gone through a lot in his experiences, and he has a way and a capability of looking things from the different angles, and that's very important, because we do get distorted through our daily lives, just because of our jobs, our stress, if we have kids and everything whatnot. So it's very, very hard to stay focused. But you have to stay focused if you want to get to your goal. You have to have that mindset, and you have to do tasks at hand that get you closer to your goal. What would you say, or what do you think is one of the hardest challenges clients have when they're working on a goal or trying to get their mindset right, so they can actually accomplish what it is that they want out of their life and out of their goals?
I would say, from my personal experience that involves me as well in my past, is focus. And now in these days, we have so many distractions by phones, TVs, laptops, things going on around us. The lifestyle is really fast. We really need to focus. We have to schedule our day. We have to schedule the time that we have to spend it on activities and on tasks that are either money making, if we are focused on making money, or are driving us towards our goal that we have, either for a day, a week, month, year, or our C-type goal, as we call it as you know, in Bob Proctor's circle.
And that makes and that and that makes complete sense. And it's really good to write that stuff out. And I always tell clients, because I'm also going to be rolling out a program, to write that out, because that's what you're going to look at, right? And when you write it out, it plays a different role in your mind than just thinking about it. Because if you think about it and there's stuff coming, you can forget. So that's very important to have it written out. And the more strategic you become, the more focused you become, but the more willing you are to do what needs to be done to get there. So has some things happened in your life, as far as experiences that you maybe undergone, that kind of revamped you or gave you energy to go forward with more things out of life, where you sat back maybe before and didn't want to pursue the things that you wanted it to do initially?
Of course, every single one of us have setbacks in life or challenging situations, but I don't know where it is coming from. I suppose source, like, call it God, call it source, call it universe, whatever you like it. I never knew or really understood word giving up or stopping. I am unstoppable. Once I set the goal, I know I'm gonna get it. If I decide, it's mine. You just have to wait for the fruition to see it in the material world, right? Of course, I had setbacks in life. I'm entrepreneur for the last 23 years. You can imagine, Mensur, by those years, there's a lot of it. But I suppose people take the biggest challenges in personal life, in relationships, if it's related to children, stuff like divorce, or we have a lot of friends. I went through divorce a couple of years back as well. So this is the biggest stopper. But then when you have tools that you can use to shape your mind and you can stand back up, you can refocus again. But you're standing up stronger and wiser, and that you can use to help others. Because, see, we are in our late 30s. There are people in early 30s, in late 20s. They're probably going through the similar situations than we have done 5, 10, 15 years ago. Now, we are not only talking to them from a book perspective, but from your own experience. This is what's mentoring about. You can tell them exactly what to avoid, what to focus on, and give them tools that you have acquired along your life journey, right? And this, for me, is most valuable that I'm getting back from my clients, to see that they're standing back up because I have shared my experience.
It's very important that you say that. I had a lot of book knowledge, right? A lot of book knowledge, because that's what the system wanted us to have. Got in a world-leading company. And I've always been focused and driven towards my goals. But, there was another part of me. It's like, I have to get more experienced for myself, right? I got to start testing boundaries and seeing what I can actually take myself farther, and not sitting back and, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, or, just wait for that opportunity to open up. And it's like, you know what? We have every capability and ability to create those opportunities. And like you said, you have to create it in your mind. And once you do that, it's going to come into fruition, long as you stay the course. So those are very, very important things. And I think a lot of people just don't give themselves the time of day to actually reflect and think about what it is that they truly want.
Yes, because society is pushing people to speed, as we mentioned in the beginning, right? You have to Well, most people go to work for 8 hours. Is it in States as well, 8 hours?
Yeah, mostly 8 hours.
Yeah. So if we take that they work from 8 to 4 or from 9 to 5, doesn't matter. Then they have to rush to collect the kids from the school if both parents are working. Then really quick home. Let's cook some dinner, some homework, bang, bedtime. It's really, really what you call it. Robert Kiyosaki calls it a rat race. You don't really have much time then over the weekends. And then if you take half a day that you need to declutter from work, you have only one day for your family. No wonder people are stressed. But there's another way as well. They just have to have their mind opened.
That's very true. And, we all have the same amount of time, right? And what you do with that time is very important. And, I have sometimes, my friends will say, I don't have time or I can't make time. And then I think, and just to shift their perspective real quick, I tell them there's billionaires and trillionaires out there that can take a day off or pencil something in their schedule. And an average person will come up with an excuse of why they can't, why they shouldn't, why it won't work. And
It's
then
a matter of priorities. That's all. You either want to do it or you won't. You mentioned a couple of minutes back, yes, we do have days as well that, I don't feel like doing it, or I don't want to do it. And it's okay. Once it's once in a while, once it's not every single day, and once it doesn't push your goal too far, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's always something that I keep in my mind, right? Things that I want to work on. How can I prioritize those things, and what are they doing for my business, right? As entrepreneurs, you have to tie things in as, how much is it costing you as far as your business? Is it worth doing? Are you going to pass this on to somebody else? And, how much time are you giving to yourself? So you're developing yourself so you can develop your team or whoever you're working with. And I think all that just aligns together and it's like a chain, right? If you had to give something for the audience, some peace of mind or piece of advice, what's something that you'd give to the audience?
In regards of mind?
Takeaway when it comes to either the mind or setting goals, what's something that you'd really want them to grasp that they can hold on to? So when they do write their goals or they stay focused or committed to something that they want to achieve, that they actually stay on that course.
Well, first of all, that what helped me was when I heard from my mentors advice to sit down in a quiet room, nobody, just you. Take a piece of paper, pen, relax, and start writing whatever comes to your mind in regards of what you want. Now, yes, we're going to start with houses, cars, etc. But those things will run in 10th or 11th position. And then what? Then you have a relationship, a lifestyle, health and fitness. You have a lot of areas, as far as I know, there are 12 or 13 most important in your life. If you take clean sheet of paper for each one and start describing in present tense your result that you want to have already. For instance, if you want to have, how you call it in US, big houses, mansions?
Mansions.
Yeah. Let's say somebody's dream is mansion, right? Take a sheet of paper and describe that mansion to every single detail. Imagine that you're walking through the door of that mansion. What's on the left? What's on the right? Where's the kitchen? Where's the living room? How many bedrooms? Do you have a garage? Do you have swimming pool? Is there a basement? Everything. And this applies to every single area of your life. Once you have this written by you, for you, from you, that's a guide that you wrote from your inside, from within. Then no matter what obstacle you're going to hit along the day, week, or a month, you still have your own guide to come back to and look at what you're aiming for. Nobody told you to do it. Nobody gave you a manual. It came from you. Most of people live by what my husband's going to say, what my wife's going to say, what my parents are going to say. Oh, I have to be this, I have to be that. This Nobody have to know about that in the beginning. Let's call it your fantasy book, right? We should live from fantasy. As children, we had our fantasy, what's that word I'm looking for? Naturally. But then society pushed it away, or be realistic. What's the reason for being realistic? I don't personally like that. We're realistic. Everything starts in our imagination. As you created Simply Motivated, it started in your fantasy. My coaching programs, I have attracted people into my life, legends as Les Brown, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, John Tallarico, Kerwin Ray. 2 years ago, I was looking at them from a pedestal as two legends. They are legends, yeah. But 2 years later, we learned the same stuff. We can apply same principles. We can use the same techniques to better our lives. So every single one of us, be it me, you, Mensur, or whoever is watching it, we all have the same opportunities, same tools to get whatever we desire, whatever our heart desires, being a partner, being a house, being a money, whatever it is. The principle is the same. Put it down on a paper.
That's very powerful. You want to create your own blueprint, so to say. And, as you were going through it, and you know how the mind works, when you were talking about mansion and when you were talking about being descriptive, that's exactly what my mind did. It started drawing those pictures, and when we think or we say a word, we relate it to a picture. That's just how our mind works. And if it's something that we don't know, we don't have a picture. But most things that we've experienced, we've seen, we've heard about, there's some kind of picture that flashes before us that, we can relate it to something. And that's something that's very powerful. And, I think clients or even folks that are listening here, I think they got to take that and they got to think a little bit to themselves about what they wanted at one point or another in their life and what they have attracted. And then think about what they didn't attract. And you're right, they're going to do the internal dialogue and figure out what is it that they didn't do, could have done, or should have done to get them what it is that they wanted to manifest, right? And those are all just, we all have those functions, ability to taste, touch, smell, hear, use our imagination, and a lot of people don't. So you touched on a lot of different perspectives there.
We do have higher faculties as well. But in the simplest word, put it, let's imagine you are a child again. When you did wanted that bicycle, for instance, that first what came to my mind, what did you see and feel? Feeling is the secret. As kids, when we wanted something, we already felt as having it. Of course, our parents got it, or grandparents, but that's what manifested to us. Feeling is the secret. If you put the picture in front of you of something that you want, you have to feel it as already having it.
Yeah, that's very important. When you talk about your goals and dreams, and this is one of the reasons they say you want to follow your passion, right? And you touched on it when you talked about sit down and write out what it is that you want and create your own map, right? You're searching yourself in what it is that you're looking for, and you're kind of putting the world on hold, but that's exactly what your mind is going to be focused on. And it's like, I talked about it, and you mentioned Tony Robbins. He talks about in one of his seminars, we're like, our mind's like a missile. The target that you give it is the target that it's going to chase. And always fascinated by that stuff of how our mind works. And, you're right on when with the examples that you gave.
Yeah, we can keep on learning all our life, Mensur, and there'll always be someone that will come up with perspective on the same thing that will just amaze us, be it Tony Robbins or Bob Proctor, or I mentioned a guy from Australia called Kerwin Ray. He's a genius in describing these things as well, and he's a brilliant coach and mentor too. So the world is full of people that we can learn from, be it you, me, whoever else. We all are learning from the same source, putting our own perspective into it, and passing it further.
And sometimes I think what's hard for us people, humans, to do is it's hard to look at somebody else's world, right? Our world is mapped, and that's really all we know. And we always think, hey, we're right. We know what we're doing. It's going this way. But, we have that perception that it can change, and it changes throughout time because we're not always, in the same body. And I told that to somebody, and they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, as you get older, you're not in that body that you were before because your body's changed over time, so it's very, very good to look at different perspectives, because sometimes, you might have to steer off course a little bit to get back on course, just like you talked about the pilot. They know what their destination is. Sometimes the windway or, the clouds will get in the way, the storm will get in the way, might go off course a little bit, but it's going to get right back on course. And I think it's very important, have that picture of that destination of where you want to be, and that's how you're going to get there.
Absolutely. 100%.
What would you say to some people that don't believe in that mindset, don't believe in those pictures? Now, we have people that, study this for 50, 60 plus years, are well experienced. They deliver results. Bob Proctor being one of them. What would you say to people that don't believe this or don't have the awareness of how important goal setting and mindset is? What's something that you would tell them to kind of open up their awareness about it?
They don't necessarily have to believe it, but if they see people that are doing it for 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years, let's try our way. Let's try it. It won't cost you anything to try and see if it's working. Let's try what we suggest, or what any motivational speaker or teacher suggests. Give yourself a time frame. Give yourself 3, 6, 9 months and see for yourself the results. Now, the important thing is, if you're starting, journal down your current state and journal at least once a week, where are you on your journey? Because if you look back a week, a month, 3 months, you would need a telescope to see where you've been. We don't see often the changes day by day, but when we look back, my God, just my life is different 6 months ago than at the moment, not alone 12 months ago, 5, 10, 12 years. Nothing stayed the same. The only thing that we have for sure is change. And change is nature.
And that's very, very important. We got to grow, and it seems like we're growing on the inside. Those experiences that we're building, the awareness that we're having, the people that we're connecting with, right? The experiences they have. And I think as coaches and mentors, that's what makes us better, right? Better as individuals, not better than anybody else, because everybody has a capability and ability to do this if their mind puts it to it. But, when you're working with clients, you want to be able to, have those examples, because everybody's stuck somewhere within themselves, right? And it seems like once they get unstuck, they can hit the ground running and, change and shift the paradigms that they had, or the mental barriers, blocks, and get moving on what it is that they truly want.
You see, Spencer, the beauty in this is we don't have to really teach people anything new that they don't know, because we are living in information age, or we did, right? Uh-huh. We have all the information that we need. The problem is most of people don't do what they know how to do. Some of them need just a little different perspective, just a little push, or just accountability partner along the way. Because their surroundings, their circle of influence is not as supportive. Let's say then they don't have friends or family who would support them in their ideas, in their business ideas, or whatever they decided to do. That's why there is a saying, and it's a very old saying, is that show me the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and I'll tell you your future. It is true, because as the people around us are who we surround ourselves with, that's who we're going to become. That's why we are surrounding ourselves with legends, with motivational speakers, with mentors, with coaches. We create groups where we can brainstorm ideas, where we can mastermind and help each other. Because if we're going to help each other grow, Everybody grows together. If you're not finding support in your close circle, we are living in an internet age. Open that internet, look for it. You'll find it for sure. And especially these days, in the last year and a half with COVID going on around the world, there has never been so many people online as now. So it's just a matter of looking for it.
And that's very true. I've talked to several people, and they use COVID as an excuse, right? We can't do anything, we're stuck. And I'm like, you're not stuck. If you close your bedroom door, shut off that TV, shut off the internet, shut off the phone, you're gonna start thinking about what you can create out of your life. Yes, you will have to stretch your imagination, and you're gonna have to go do things that you haven't done before to become who you want to be. But if that's your passion, that COVID shouldn't stop you. There's no excuse that should stop you. And as we started, I launched my company last year, and COVID came around, and it's like, hey, we can't, the public stages are closed, we can't give speeches. And it's like, hey, the next best thing is we still have internet, they have cameras, you can go pick up a mic, and you can connect with people around the world just like you and I are. And it's one of those things that you meet people that have done it, or you meet people in different groups that will support you or tell you, hey, try this is working, it's worked for me, don't do this doesn't work. And you can always try it, right? Just like you said, give yourself a chance to try things and see what works for you, because what works for somebody else might not work for you. But we have all those faculties, the same faculties that we can work with to make it easier on ourselves to acquire what we need to get where we want to be.
Absolutely. I'm just seeing comment from Craig. That's the chapter I'm in now. I'll tell you, man, Sir Craig is one powerful soul in a human body. I really admire that guy.
Craig is one of the strongest guys that I've met. He impacted me, and feelings and emotions have a lot to do with it. I see the guy like family. I was actually in Florida when I was getting ready to do the Les Brown Summit, and he called me and he's like, hey, did you do your speech? And I'm like, no. He's like, you have 10 minutes to do it right now. And I'm like, well, I didn't see that coming. And let me tell you, it was probably the best 10 minutes of my life, getting put on the spot, knowing, hey, it's my turn to go, to give my speech. And here comes this guy. He's like, no, don't wait for tomorrow. Do it right now.
Yeah.
And what I was doing, I was playing it safe. I'll rehearse it. I have plenty of time, and I was coming with those excuses. And, he closed that excuse off real quick. And it's one of those things that when the unscripted came with Tiffy, I'm like, you know what? This time I'm not going to talk myself out of it. I got to do this because it's the only way I'm going to grow, learn, and develop. And it's one of the things that helped me out greatly. So, he's an incredible human.
He is too, and I'm grateful to Ify and Precious as well for Unscripted Voices. Yesterday was my third time on it. First time, I don't know what problem I had, but I was terrible at it, right? But I never gave up. I went for it again. The second time I've done it, I was shortly after Mexico. I had a COVID while doing Unscripted, and yesterday I couldn't hear what you guys were saying. But look, still, hey, this is what we do. This is what we sign up for. So it doesn't matter if you can see, can't hear. You came here to do it. Let's do it. We are not doing it for ourselves. If you take these legends that we learn from, right? Les Brown, Bob Proctor, what would happen if they would give up at the beginning? Who would we have to learn from? Now let's turn the mirror to our direction. If we stop now, if we won't push through the barriers that we have, through the obstacles that we have, just imagine how many people we will deprive, I hope I'm using the right word, of the experience and the knowledge. You don't know who is going to get his life saved from terrible turmoil just because you've done something now, or it will be 5-10 years from now. People that aren't even born. So look at the speeches that Les Brown have done. Some of them I wasn't even born. And he saved my life with one of them. This is too great responsibility for me personally. That's why I do what I do. That's why I love helping people, and I transferred it to coaching because it did save my life. And there's nothing greater than to help. You won't get satisfaction from money, from material things, as you're gonna get from seeing someone rise because you shared your bit with him.
That's very true, and one of the things, I come from Bosnia, right? Came here as a child because of the war. And when I seen the opportunities in the United States, living the American dream and, just staying focused and saying, okay, I am going to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get the education because it's available here. And some people around the world, they just don't get that opportunity. My parents always worked hard and always worked physical labor jobs. And I told myself, I will do whatever it takes. And my why is them. Everybody asked me, what's your why? What kept you going? Knowing that they sacrificed and that we lost people so I could live and be here, I will do whatever it takes to pave the way, regardless of what other people might think, good, bad, or indifferent. They're entitled to it, and as you bring up, Les Brown and Bob Proctor and many of the other greats, they have touched billions of lives around the world. And, you're right. One of the best things in the world is, helping somebody else, because we've probably been in their situation or a situation like theirs.
We did. We just strived so many times. We fell and stood up so many times that we often forget those beginnings, right? Some of us do, some of us don't, but yeah, they're going through similar things than we are. And if we can help them, that's why we are here, to love and to serve. That's what I go by.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, like I said, I talked to you before, very grateful for you. You helped me get unstuck so many times through our chats or our calls. So you're a wonderful human being. Soon as COVID's gone, I think I'm going to take a trip overseas, and maybe we can have one of these discussions in purpose, in person, and just see if we've come.
We will, for sure. We will. I have promised to a dozen of people at this stage from our families, from Power Voice and from TIR family, that I'm definitely coming to USA. I'll just have to pick one spot that will be closest for everybody to come, right?
Well, I'm located in Iowa, and Iowa's in the middle of the United States. So if we can come here,
right,
to work something out.
Right, we'll see. Or we're going to meet all in Mexico. I see Craig Love, Mexico as well. He lives there too. So we might party in Mexico at some stage.
We could do that too. Joe, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and sharing with us what it is that you do. Like I said, you're a great individual. Craig, hugs wherever you're at, my friend. And, hope to connect with you again. And, you gave a lot of amazing stuff to the audience today. And it's just one of those things. I appreciate and value good people doing good things to make this world a better place. And you definitely are one of those people that I have a lot of respect for. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Mensur.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day.